I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Joseph. And for those interested in requesting any other type of videos, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I've seen like in a sour mood. Number one is because I hate this weather. Number two, because I'm not much of a bigger fan of this movie. How I feel about the weather is how I feel about this movie. Nomadland. A film that won the Academy Award for Best Picture. And I just sit here and I go, why? Why did this win the Best Picture Oscar? I don't understand. It's from the same lady who directed The Writer. I wasn't really much a fan of that. And I just, with the countless upon countless movies that were nominated but never won, or never even got a nomination, or got completely forgotten, or put under the radar, put under the rug, that to me are so much better than this film. Because this film is... It's about Frances McDormand from Fargo. A plant has shut down. The town she's in of Empire, Nevada is pretty much dead to the point that the zip code is discontinued. She gets stuff out of storage. She gets in her van and she wanders around. And that's the movie. I'm sorry, I don't think there was much point to the movie. There was no big revelation. There's not really much to the characters. There's not much to the dialogue. The fact that the director, put actors and then put real people who are not actors, and you can tell they're not real actors, that they're real people. I did that because some of they just didn't work for me. And it's a lot of just Frances McDormand sitting in a chair and having a shot to try to look beautiful, look nice, or her wandering around the rocks. I'm going, is she loopy? Is she out of it? No. She's wandering around the rocks just because. And she works at Amazon warehouse. We see her working at various places. Clean up a bathroom at a golf course. People keep saying, hey, I could provide you help. You could stay with us. Her sister, this other guy played by David Strathairn, and his family. And people keep offering her help, offering her a home, offering her shelter. As she says no, and she really never gives much of a reason as to not to. And for a movie that got an Academy Award for Best Picture, marvel at Frances McDormand pissing or her shitting in a bucket in her van, or wandering around, or just sitting in an arcade, or sitting at a diner, no dialogue, or she's cleaning the bathroom, cleaning up the toilet, this asshole guy uses the urinal even it's closed, then it cuts to a random conversation with some woman, and I'm like, who is she? And Frances McDormand talks about a wedding ring, and why she doesn't take it off, and then cut to just David Strathairn, I guess, is sick, and she's giving him chicken noodle soup. Watch her clean a grill, watch her do laundry, watch her be very lonely and depressed. And you can tell in her face, it's not like she's enjoying this, not like she's liking this, not like she's loving what's going on. Almost every fucking shot she seems depressed, but then other people keep offering her help, and she doesn't do anything. And by the end of it, David Strathairn and his family offer her to stay. She just leaves in the middle of the night, goes back to the other nomads in the desert, talks with this guy who you tell is not an actor. I don't mind his story, but again, the guy, I think for that kind of moment you needed a strong actor, and this guy, he's trying, but he's talking about his son who passed away and from suicide, and all we know about Frances McDormand throughout the course of this movie is that she had a husband who died, who liked that place, who liked that plant, and so because her husband loved staying there, she stayed there a bit too long, and she spent too much of her life just remembering. So I guess now she wants to live, but then she goes back to the old home and work that her husband had. Then she goes back to the van and leaves. So she's in the same spot she was at the beginning of the film. I really don't see any progression of her character. The beginning of the film, she left. So it's not like, oh, she's never going to leave and now this is her moving on. She already moved on because earlier we saw, in 5 minutes we saw her leave in the van. Great, she's going to let him leave in the van for more nomadness. By the end of the film, I'm going, what was the point? And it's not even people that enjoy it on a visual note. Even the visuals are blasé. Because what the director did, was take the color scheme and mute it. Mute the colors. So there's a moment where she's in this beautiful forest, but then it's like, take the color and mute it a bit, so it's kind of a bit darker, or a little bit bluer. That's like this whole film, it's like the colors are muted, so you can't even enjoy the natural visual pastiche that you would normally see, and what this film is trying to do. And I'm sorry, just that muted color, the few moments that maybe you'd be wowed by the visuals, I'm not. And I don't see how Frances McDormand won the Oscar for Best Actress, Best Director, Best Film. I don't see that in this. Because I didn't feel any emotions. It was a bit depressing because you just seen depressed people wandering around. And they're not always depressed, to be fair. It's like, hey, they're in this desert rendezvous in Arizona organized by this guy who provides a support system for fellow nomads. They hang around, they dance, she shits in a bucket and we hear it. She's hanging with a lady who's got cancer. And then she wanders around some rocks. She tries to she's taught some stuff, how to survive on the road. At one point early, she's working on the Amazon warehouse, and someone shows Frances McDormand their tattoos. We never see that person again. That's the point. It's just her wandering around. And by the end of the film, I went, what was the point of this? What was the point of this that I can't get from looking out of my backyard? I mean, if I took a webcam and filmed some random shots in my backyard and some shots around town, you get the same effect of whatever point he's trying to make. Only would it be muted colors. And most of the dialogue is circumstantial, little small talk. And hell, this is coming from a guy that likes Clerks. But even that told more of a story. There's not really a story being told here. That's the thing, there's not really a story being told. There's, again, nothing to say about the characters. Maybe, David Strathairn, he's out there, one of the nomads, and then he got sick, and then he went with his family, and he stayed with them. Felt like there was more to his character than our lead. And most of the time, Frances McDormand is just being glum. But, Best Actress, Academy Award for some reason. I don't know, I mean, I just look over the history of films, and some that were nominated but didn't win, some that were not even thought of. I looked at, again, some of the ones nominated but didn't win. All the President's Men, great movie. And Justice for All, Al Pacino, that's a great movie. I don't think that got any nominations for Best Picture. That's a great Al Pacino film. Heat, nothing. Heat doesn't get anything. Never doesn't get a Best Picture nomination, let alone a win. Michael Mann, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, great movie. Heat. Copland with Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone in Copland, that's a performance. That's a great performance. Doesn't even get nominated. But, this wins all, the Oscars. And for what? This film here had more story going on, had more emotion going on, had more of a point to it, and had a much better performance. John Cho did an amazing job in this. Because someone's going to say, well, you don't like this because a female directed it, or you don't like it because it's an Asian female who directed it. Yeah, this film was my favorite film of the year. And guess who stars in it? That's not a white guy, because I don't give a shit about that. I give a shit if it's good. And yes, that is subjective. Of course it is. But I give a shit if it's fucking good. If it's not good, then in my opinion, I think it sucks. Because I think this film sucks. And it's not that I'm saying it's badly acted. Like, Frances McDormand, I don't think it's horrible acting. No. It's just, there's nothing in the performance that makes me go, yes, that's an Oscar. Being glum and depressed, I can fucking do that. Give me the Oscar. Hey, film me how I was feeling yesterday. There you go. Just as much of an Oscar-worthy performance as Frances did. And the direction, and I'm going to say it, and people don't think I'm being harsh, but I'm going to fucking say it. I think this film got an Oscar, or a lot of the Oscars, because it was directed by a French? How the fuck did that come about? There's nothing French about this. A female Asian, well, I guess to me, that equals French. What's a French? A female Asian. Wow, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Is because it's an Asian female who directed it. People keep saying Oscars are political, right? They're political. People always say they're political, and they're right. I'm saying if this wasn't directed by a female Asian who is the same woman who's directing the Marvel film Eternals, diversity, diversity, diversity. Who cares about talent? Who cares about the movies? Who cares about... No, it's all about skin color. It's all about sex. And yet we're the sexists. Yet we're the racists. But they're the ones that's like, if you have this, then good. But if you're this, then you're bad. But we're the racists? We're the sexist? I wouldn't even bring it up, but they bring it up all the fucking time. My friend Michael, who happens to be black, did a video on the Black Superman. And he did an excellent job in that video. Better than I could have ever said it. That's why I'm not making a video. I would say, if you want to hear my thoughts on the whole Black Superman call-out, watch my friend, the Choice Voice, Michael Keene's video on it. Type in the Choice Voice or whatever on up there on YouTube. Because a lot of it's political. And I'm going to call it like I see it. Yes, I think because this director is female and Asian, I think they said, you know what, oh my god, this movie is artsy and it's ponderous. It's a dissertation and a meditation and all those words they'll use. No, it's fucking boring. I'm not saying I need Michael Bay explosions. Again, this fucking film deserved what this film got. This fucking film. This fucking performance. This fucking direction. This had a story, a point, emotion. This had it. This had it. And you know who directed it? Anish Chaganti. Not a white guy. That's why I'm like, I don't give a fuck what race, color, creed you are if you direct a film. But that becomes more and more the point. And the reason I bring that up, because I know people are like, well, if you say something bad about this, it must be you're sexist. You must be you're racist. No, I'm a realist. Maybe that's my problem. I'm a realist. I'm sorry, when I look back throughout the years, I looked at Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins. Watch the 1990 Jacob's Ladder movie. Watch Tim Robbins' performance and realize that Tim Robbins didn't get shit for that amazing performance. Go watch Uncommon Valor. You want to talk about a movie that gives you the emotions and the feels? People like Gene Hackman? Go watch Uncommon Valor. These are films swept under the radar, not given an iota of shit. Copland with Sylvester Stallone. I mentioned Searching with John Cho. I could go on. How many do you want me to name? Pick a number. But this wins Best Picture. Give me a fucking break. It's like last year. Parasite? No, I'm sorry. 1917 and Joker, in my opinion, were better movies than Parasite. But I never bought into the Oscars. That's why I always said the Oscars are shit. John Carpenter's the thing. In the makeup, considered one of the best in the makeup field of special effects. Didn't get a single nomination back in the day. But what Suicide Squad won? Or whoever you from Best Makeup? What, because of the way Joker looked? With the fucking gold grilled teeth? For Best Makeup? Maybe it did. I can't remember. I know I'm going off it. Because what else am I supposed to talk about with this movie? Not much happens in the film. It's boring. It's slow. If you want to watch Frances McDormand take a shit in a bucket, or take a piss by a fence, or wander around town, walk around town with her hand in her pockets, tried to sleep in the cold in her van, and no, not the van down by the river. People keep offering her help. You can stay here, you can stay here. She keeps saying no for some reason. I did it, she's independent. But common sense can also enter the field as well. I'm not homeless, I'm houseless. No, you're fucking homeless. That's literally a line. I'm not homeless, I'm houseless. No, you're a fool. This would make me think that I'm watching an idiot for almost 2 hours. First Midorn just came off as a moron. I'm watching this idiot fool disregard help even though all you have is you're in a fucking van. It would make more sense for the point of the story if she tried to go for help, she got shut down, so she's got to make the best of a bad situation, which is what most people have to go through in life. But the fact that she's given these free outs and she shuts it down, then I kind of lose sympathy for you. Your sister offered, hey, come live with us, even for a bit, help you get back on your feet, whatever. No. David Strathairn and his family? No. I'm sure there's some big meaning about independence, I'll do it myself. Yeah, okay, I get that. But by the end, you're still in a van, and that's all you got. And it's not like the movie really led to anywhere. Some big revelation. It didn't. She says, I spent too much of my life just remembering. Okay? So maybe that is why this journey happened. But then what? Don't go back to the desert and just... Like, when the movie ended, I just went, what was the point of this? What was the fucking point? The point was to win an Oscar. I guess that was the point. So yeah, you can get mad at me all you want for not liking this film. The fact that this pretentious, boring, slow slog of a movie won Best Picture at the Oscars when I did in a multitude of films did not. And people wonder why I rant about so much stuff in movies today. How this movie stacks with classics like All the President's Men and Justice for All and Taxi Driver and a lot of those are films that didn't even win or even nominated for Best Picture, but Shawshank Redemption, classic. Didn't win, but it's classic. Or again, some of these films that get just disregarded, even though they're top notch. Guess even God agrees. If you didn't hear that, thunder. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. I'm sure people don't call me sexist or racist. No, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. Like, do people forget Catherine Bigelow was a director and she did a damn good movie called The Hurt Locker? You ever heard of The Hurt Locker? Damn good film. That won the Oscar. I'm like, okay, I understand. Hurt Locker, really fucking good film. With a point. And a story. See, that actually had a point to the end. The fact that Jeremy Renner, despite all the craziness, all the insanity, all of the intensity, he goes back home, but he can't do it. Even though it's nice and calm, he's got a family. What does he do? He goes right back into the shit. He signs right back in. And that shows where his frame of mind is. And it's like, ooh. And then the movie ends. Okay, there is a point to that. The Hurt Locker. And Anthony Mackie coming to realization, I want to go home and I want to have a family and kids. Anthony Mackie has a revelation. There's a point. The Hurt Locker, directed by a woman called Catherine Bigelow. Because I'm sorry, she's a better director than this Chloe girl. Sorry. There are good male directors and there are shitty ones. You have a good John Carpenter or a shitty Uwe Boll. Or the guy who did A Good Day to Suck Hard. You have good female directors like Catherine Bigelow. I'm sorry, this lady, at best, she could be somewhat competent cinematographer. Or she gets people, and again, even that's hampered by the muting of the colors. Okay, fine. Have her going as a cinematographer, not as a director, not as a storyteller. Just no, I don't think this director is a good storyteller. Having just wanderless... This movie wanders as much as its characters. It has no direction, just like its characters have no direction. But I'm sure that was the big point. I'm like, okay, good. Good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Doesn't mean everyone will, including myself. So, fuck it. See you guys later. Bye-bye.